So when did I first start playing WoW? I started playing WoW with Classic, which means I was around the age of 16 when I got into World of Warcraft. A buddy of mine, a real-life friend of mine from high school, we had just finished up playing a summer of Star Wars Galaxies, another MMORPG, and I dedicated my life to that game for that summer. I did nothing else but play that game. And you gotta imagine, around that age, I came out of high school, so it was a big question as to what do you want to do with your future. And I decided to play video games.
So I first started playing WoW in the fall of 2008. I was 16 years old, and I started playing because at high school, all my friends would do nothing but talk about WoW. And there is nothing more boring than standing in a group of people that is talking about something you just don't know anything about for hours every single day. And after a good couple of years of that, I decided to pick up a copy of the game myself so that I could see what all the fuss was about.
My brother originally played WoW in 2004, I think he started. And then eventually he let me make a character, which was nice of him. And obviously, you know, the rest is history. But I made a gnome, and it's actually still the same gnome that I play now. It was 14 years ago, so I was like 15, yeah, about 15 when I started playing WoW for the first time.
I started playing World of Warcraft in November 2004 when it was launched. I had not previously heard about WoW. I used to play a game called Ragnarok Online, and we got pretty serious there with the guild and everything. We were one of the top guilds on the server, and after like a year or two, my guild leader, out of nowhere, just started talking about how she wants to move to a new game called World of Warcraft. And I was really hesitant at first because I wasn't really into trying a new game. I was really dead set in Ragnarok Online. I loved playing it. We were pretty dominant on the server that we were on. Sometimes you're afraid of change. Sometimes you don't want to move. But slowly, as the release date drew near, she kind of convinced everybody to move over to World of Warcraft, kind of like one by one. And at first I was like, well, you know what? I guess I'll give WoW a try. I could always go back and keep playing RO. But as soon as I got into WoW, I was completely immersed in it. There was no looking back.
I got into World of Warcraft in the same way that a lot of people get into drugs. There was a kid that was a bit older than me in my high school, and he was selling the game because he was getting out of it. His parents were making him quit. And I didn't know if I was going to buy it or not. And then he kind of pressured me into buying it. I gave him the 20 bucks. I bought Warcraft, and I took it home, and I just left it on my bookshelf for, you know, basically the rest of the whole school year until my friend Zach came down and he saw this game, World of Warcraft, on the bookshelf. And he asked me, it's like, man, like, why are we playing Halo whenever we could play WoW?
My first impressions of WoW were that it was a very big game with a lot of things to know. And catching up on all of that knowledge and figuring out what to do and where to go and where everything is was one of the scarier things about starting the game. And I think that's why I actually enjoyed my first full expansion that I played from the beginning, Cataclysm, a lot more than I enjoyed Wrath when I was just learning.
It was really good. I really enjoyed it. Never played anything like that before. The games I played before that were like Metal Gear Solid, Crash Bandicoot, platformer games, PlayStation games and stuff, and this was my first experience on a PC game, and it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed like discovering the world for the first time, and having the music, the soundtrack of Vanilla WoW was just the most incredible thing I've ever heard in my life, and still to this day, it's one of the best WoW soundtracks out there.
The best part about it is I was really apprehensive about it to begin with, because I didn't really understand the game that well. Like, I had played Warcraft 3 all the time, Warcraft 2 even. And so I didn't understand exactly. I'm like, okay, so you're only playing as one guy. So it's like a hero in Warcraft 3. And I'm like, okay, fine. I bought the game and I just never played it. But yeah, ever since, and that was in, what was it, junior year for me. So this was 2006. I started playing the game in July of 2006, and I've been playing ever since then.
This mate of mine showed me a trailer of classic World of Warcraft, and by that time I had not heard of Warcraft at all. I had not played Warcraft 1, 2 or 3, I didn't really even know what Blizzard Entertainment was. I believe that we played StarCraft together, but honestly, no idea. This was my first introduction to their video games, and the moment I saw that first trailer, I was hooked. I saw that dwarf with the bear fighting the Tauren, and I was like, wow, that's really cool, I want to play this. I was a little bit hesitant at first, like we just spent a summer playing a video game together, and considering that this was an MMORPG, I was like, do I really want to you know, sacrifice that much of my time and that much of my life to another video game. But with that trailer, I was like, you know what, we're gonna give it a go. My first experience was by myself. The first day that I log in, I play for around 30 minutes. I realize, like, okay, I do not enjoy this. I find this really, really boring. I log out, and yet the next day, it itched. The next day, I was like, you know what, maybe I should just give it a little bit more time. So the next day, I log in for an hour, and I log out, and then it was 2 hours. And before I knew it, I was hooked. Before I knew it, I was playing classic World of Warcraft 24/7 for a year.
When did you make the decision to become a content creator? So I originally became a content creator officially, I guess, in 2011, when I made my first video about the 4.2 PTR or something. And I also made a video about Pokemon. There was basically a way on the PTR where you could get the TCG rewards from Booty Bay, and you just had to type in this code, and the video was just telling you how to write that code. The channel started growing quite rapidly, actually. We gained 1,000 subs fairly quickly, probably within four months, which is pretty good for a brand new channel in 2010. There wasn't as many people on YouTube back then. My main inspirations from back then were probably WowHobbs and TB. From back then, because TB was one of the main people I used to watch. The Cataclysm beta videos were just so damn good, and I've watched them back recently. They're just incredible. And of course, WowHobbs being, you know, the Scarlet Monastery master of making gold and taking little viewers and little gnomes out on adventures with him. It was just so good, man.
So I started a YouTube channel because I was living in the United States for quite a few months, and I had a visa, but my visa did not legally allow me to work. So I wanted something that I could put my time into to keep me busy and stop me from going crazy, and also something that I could do without having it monetized so it's not working, and then maybe potentially monetize it later so that I hadn't just wasted all of that time.
I started making general videos on YouTube about WoW, and then once I started to realize that the Paladin videos were gaining traction and I kind of streamlined the content that way, it was very surprising. I remember going to California with some friends for a vacation, and I had just released maybe like my first or second Holy Paladin specific video, and I remember on that trip I think I got like a few hundred new subscribers, and I was really surprised, and I was like, wow, like this is turning into something here.
At this point, I was planning to go to business school. I had like all of my paperwork done, everything was good, and then my mom got sick, and I ended up not being able to go. So what ended up being just something for me to take my mind off of my real life situation, which is what I would do to just like make videos. I would just be like, hey, you know, I'm going to make a video and put this out there. It was just like something for me to do and focus on to take my mind off of, you know, just real life. And that became my Asmongold channel. And I developed that and started making guide videos and, a couple of like commentary videos talking about the state of the game and, just develop things from there. And that was in, as I said, 2013, 2014, like late 2013. And then in 2016, I first started doing streaming. And that was in I think it was like April whenever I first started doing it, full time. And I've been doing it pretty much ever since.
The decision to become a content creator kind of flowed naturally. Like, you have to understand, like, I make lore videos, right? But I wasn't into the lore of Warcraft until Wrath of the Lich King. I played through Classic, I took a break, then I came back for Burning Crusade, I took another break again. I came back for Wrath of the Lich King, and we went through the Wrathgate questline, and I saw that moment happen. I saw the in-game cinematic, and I just wondered, like, why did this happen? What's going on here? And before I knew it, I was researching the story behind the game. I was playing Warcraft 3, I was picking up the books, I was browsing Wowpedia. I was absorbing and remembering the lore as it came by, and from that point on I started picking up the comics and the books, and I started really getting into the lore. Now when it comes to making videos, that's not where I began. One of my very first videos was Burning Crusade, in which I showed off guild events. We would occasionally go into Goldshire and duel each other. We would occasionally run to the Gurubashi arena and fight each other there. We would hold screenshot contests. So that was Burning Crusade period. Then in Wrath of the Lich King, I came back into the game because I saw videos from a guy called WowHobbs, and WowHobbs was doing the WowHobbs way of pulling, in which he on his paladin, he was boosting people through Scarlet Monastery, and he was having a lot of fun, and I figured to myself, like, okay, I've gotten bored with the game before. What if I too make a paladin? What if, you know, I get bored, I'll start soloing stuff. I'll start boosting people. That sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like a really cool alternative thing to do besides the regular raiding and endgame that was there.
Hey guys, Hobbs here.
I first started playing WoW basically when it first came out. I took a little bit of time off before I started because I knew I'd be hooked when I started. I had previous MMORPG experience with EverQuest and Dark Ages of Camelot. Dark Ages was kind of filler because I knew I wanted to get to WoW. I'd been reading about it for years in magazines at that point, and all the aspects. I love the original Warcraft, so having Warcraft and MMORPG, and I knew Blizzard made great games, putting them both together was great. So myself and a couple college friends who we played a couple games after we finished college, like Dark Ages, everybody was really excited to get into playing Warcraft, and I was looking forward to AoE and some stuff down with the Pally. When I first started to do YouTube, a lot of it kind of happened by accident. I had been power leveling people in Scarlet Monastery of all places and other instances, but whenever they saw it, they were like, wow, this is amazing. How you need to put this on YouTube. Every once in a while somebody would say that, and I'm like, well, what's YouTube? And now this was back in 2007 when I started, so I look it up, and at the time there was really only PvP videos that had like random music over it. Nobody did a commentary, and I also searched to make sure nobody else was doing what I was doing. I didn't want to just put out another, cut and paste same thing. So I searched to see if anybody was mass power leveling and making gold like this, and nobody was. And then I thought, well, what do gamers like to do? They like to talk about their game. Anytime I was at work and I was with a coworker who played the same game as I did, made the shift go by like that, because you could actually discuss, different buffs and traits and adventures, and that's what I wanted to make out of my channel. So that was I just thought, let's talk and explain what buffs I'm using, what gear, how much I'm making, and the gold on an average night. And that was kind of a first. There wasn't really a lot of videos out back then in World of Warcraft where people would chat and explain the process. When I moved from YouTube to Twitch, so I did the live stream, and then a while later I did the Twitch. I was extremely nervous. I streamed on my friend Hybrid Panda's stream for a while, and I was just a voice. It got me comfortable and my confidence up. Even though I had like millions of views on YouTube, there was an editing process where if I mispronounced things as I was going, or I, just said stuff or sneezed at the wrong time, that's all stuff you can edit. Whereas live, it's happening. And it took me a while. It took me a while to build that confidence, believe it or not, even though I had experience through all my YouTube channel of getting to that point. But, as I tell people now, if you're nervous, start without a camera. Just go voice. Or even if you're nervous, don't do any voice, just do gameplay. And then, add the voice, hey, it's me. And then, and then add the camera. In fact, my YouTube started with just voice at the time, and I remember the first time I ever did a camera video. That was pretty overwhelming, because on average my videos got about 200,000 views at the time, and I knew that represented like 3 sky domes. That's me standing in the middle of 3 sky domes. 200,000 views now. People have far exceeded it, but at the same time, that was a lot of people to say, hey, here I am. This is me, and you walk through it. That's about it, and then you get used to it. And for every once in a while, stage fright comes back, but it doesn't happen as much anymore because you're kind of used to it.
So my first Twitch stream didn't work very well because I was trying to stream from Canada and my internet there was very, very poor. So I gave up for a year or two and then tried again after I moved down here and got better internet. It was a little scary. It was a lot of talking to myself. There wasn't anybody watching for quite a while, and then for quite a while after that there was only a couple of people watching. But at that point I had spent quite a bit of time making Let's Play videos where you're talking to yourself about the game anyway, so it was just more of that with the theoretical possibility that somebody might come say hi.
My first stream ever. It was okay. It was very quiet, and I didn't really say a lot. I think one of the best advice I ever got given was by God, I can't remember now. Basically, speak your mind. If you are a streamer and you want to start streaming, basically, if there's no one in the chat or anything like that, and there's no back and forth, just speak what you think. Just say exactly what's in your mind, and that is basically stream content.
So my first live stream, I think it was when the class-specific mounts came out in Legion. So I was like, you know what, this new content's coming out, why don't I try live streaming just me going through the quest and getting my mount? And I was really surprised that, like, I think I got almost like 20 viewers in my first live stream. It was definitely double digits. So the fact that, like, I was getting close to like 15, 20 viewers in the first stream, it was really encouraging for me. And everyone was really nice too. Everybody was really supportive and like, hey, you should do this more often.
My first YouTube videos was for friends, and the same goes for Twitch, if I'm gonna be honest. My very first Twitch stream was for the fun of it, and I showed it to my friends, like, look, I can actually show live what we're doing in the game right now, come hang out. And we played some music, we hung out, and it was all good fun. The first time that I did like a face reveal, that was for Final Boss TV. That was a podcast with Bay. He invited me in, and yeah, that was one of the first times I actually showed this beautiful, handsome face on camera. What are some fond WoW-related memories you have in or outside the game? The thing that stands out when it comes to World of Warcraft, the thing that I remember is not so much the boss skills. It's not so much the shiny loot that I obtained throughout the years. It's not the levels or whatnot, but it's always been the people that I met throughout the years. I still remember player names from people in Classic that I hung out with. We used to stay up all night and talk about all kinds of nonsense, and that's the thing that stands out for me. The people that you meet, and this has happened in-game as well as outside of the game. For example, a Let's Play that's on my channel right now is a Let's Play with Fury W, and that is a person that I actually met throughout the game. And there's been several throughout the years where we had like guild meetups or conventions or one-on-one. We meet up, we hang out, and we have a grand old good time.
Some of my WoW memories I've had in or outside of the game, mainly in, but a lot of my shared on my channel. My level 80 ding was amazing because I almost died 3 times during that one, and it went perfect. And you only get one shot at it, so that was probably one of the coolest moments. Basically, I was at the edge of the cliff, AoEing down this group of mobs, and my health going down. I used a potion, but I didn't use my lay on hands because I knew that when I leveled, it heals you. And then I went down, and I think I laid on hands after. I don't know if it was in that order, but I remember I almost died 3 times. Oh, and at the end, I bubbled off the edge of the cliff to avoid just to bubble. Yeah, anyways, oh yeah, because there was a elite name mob in there that I couldn't take down, so that was so that I didn't die 5 seconds after I dinged level 80. Outside the game, which was kind of inside, was the first time I met Athena and Swifty power leveling. That was quite a unique experience because I had been watching them on their streams on YouTube for a while, and it was overwhelming. It was neat to meet somebody that you it almost looked like a TV character show type of thing, right? So that was a really cool experience for me. And I've met many other WoW creators over the years: Trade Chat, Hybrid Panda, WoW Krendor. The list is so big. I just left out like 50 people, and my apologies. But I've had the opportunity, Towley, you know, so many people, and so many people have been so kind to me. Asmongold, I know he shouted me out a few times on his stream, and it was very kind of him as well. Like, there was so many nice interactions over the World of Warcraft with the other content creators. It was one thing that I really do enjoy about this whole thing, is that people support each other.
I originally started, like, one of the main people that the two guys that I watched before I made content that I based a lot of like my, you know, just like the way that I did things off of, was Athene and Kripparrian. And I had always said, like, you know, I was a huge Kripparrian fan and everything like that. I met Kripparrian at BlizzCon, and I told him how much, you know, he inspired me to make my videos and everything like that. And he told me, he's like, well, you know, you're going to be doing that for guys now. And it's like weird to think that, like, it like helped me realize like the place that I'm in, you know, like he was like, the generation of creators before me. Now it's me. And soon it'll be somebody else. And it really helped put things in perspective. And I've had other people tell me, they're like, yeah, I started streaming because of your stream. To me, it's just, it's surreal to think that, now I'm that guy.
When I think back to fond memories in WoW, I just think back to who I played with. And that to me is like the importance of community and friendship and playing with friends. Because there have been many times in WoW where I did play by myself. So really, like, I would say my fondest WoW memories just all revolve around playing with other people and developing relationships and friendships with people. But more specifically, I went to BlizzCon for the first time last year. It was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life, and I don't know if anything will top that. And here's the thing, like, when we had gotten to BlizzCon, I had just moved to Twitch maybe like 2 or 3 months ago, so I was kind of like in the process of porting my community from like YouTube to Twitch and seeing who's following, and then building a new community on Twitch. So it was a very transitionary period for me. And long story short, like, I didn't expect to be recognized, or I didn't expect to be like seen as this like streamer or community figure or anything like that. And I was totally fine with that. Because I think that for my first BlizzCon experience, I really liked that I was able to just witness it as a spectator, as just a fan, which was really, really amazing. More specifically about BlizzCon, was 2 days prior, I had received an email from Caden House, the community manager from Blizzard, and he messaged me and he said, "Hey, we had a last-minute dropout for a streaming slot at BlizzCon. Would you be interested?" And it took me by surprise, but because I was kind of like going back to like the small community thing, like, wow, why me? Like, of all people, why are you asking me to live stream at BlizzCon? Like, I'm nobody. But of course I accepted the offer, and I had a slot to live stream at BlizzCon, and I was surrounded by like Esfand, and Hazel was on before me, and Bajira was on after me, and Zaryu was next to me. And just kind of meeting all these people, all these fellow streamers, and just being able to live stream from the event was outstandingly incredible. I mean, even like the official Warcraft Twitter tweeted my name, that I was going live, and a picture of us. Like, it was absolutely insane. I can't express enough how much last year's BlizzCon meant to me. And just how incredible it was, and I'm so excited to go back this year.
My first BlizzCon was actually BlizzCon 2018, this most recent year. I had never been before then, so when I went, it was an unusual experience because people actually knew me. I didn't know anybody. Nobody that I knew in real life was going, so I was just planning to maybe meet up with some people I'd met on Twitter or some people I'd queued arena with, but I didn't know anybody. And going to something like that, people will have their own opinions about the announcements at BlizzCon 2018, but the actual experience of being at the convention was something that I had never had before. And I plan on going every year that I can now, just in hopes that it will be that way again, because it's just something about being in such a big place with so many people that you have that core thing in common with is really special.
First BlizzCon was 2017, so that's 2 years ago now. I was pretty nervous going in. We went Wednesday to Monday, which was the worst idea I've ever had, because the jet lag just destroyed me. I actually barely remember it because I was so damn tired. But it was really good. Didn't really meet a lot of people back then. 2018 was more pivotal, where we met, so many people like Crom, Zavage, Pyro, Talias and Evto. We actually met in 17 as well. Oh man, there's so many. There's literally just so many. And 2018 was the first time ever being noticed by a fan or a viewer of the channel, and that was really weird. It was the Thursday night, and it was the first, I guess, sort of unofficial first night of BlizzCon, where you got the Wowhead Pie and the Convent Full of Storm thing, and the first moment we walked into the Hilton, which is where the event was, and a dude called AJ, who I've seen around on chats and stuff, came up to me and goes, "Oh, yo, dude, I loved your videos and stuff," and we were chatting away, and yeah, that was really strange. And then throughout BlizzCon, we ended up getting noticed by a few other people, which was, again, just an insane thing. And Obviously, if you put that many WoW players in one room, maybe, you know, if you're lucky, maybe 1 or 2 people might have watched your videos and stuff. So that was pretty damn cool. That was a pretty cool moment.
My first BlizzCon, and my only BlizzCon, was an absolute blast. I can't tell you what the year was. I honestly do not remember. But that BlizzCon was insane. Like, you have to imagine that when you make videos and when you make content, you just sit behind your screen, you write your scripts, you do your voiceover, you do your editing, you put it out into the world, and all you really get is comments, and those are faceless comments, right? There's no person behind it. But when you go to a convention where people might actually know you, it's insane. Like, you walk by and people recognize you. The BlizzCon itself, I was lucky enough to be invited for a tour at Blizzard headquarters with the one and only Taron Gregory. Taron was geeking out about me, I was geeking out about Taron. That man, if you're ever looking for somebody to get you hyped about the game, talk to Taron Gregory. That man has stolen my little lore heart, and I hope he never gives it back. So yeah, we did the whole headquarters tour, and again, it was mind-blowing that some people actually at Blizzard watch your channel, and they actually know who you are. That was mind-blowing to me. I was extremely nervous, extremely nervous, but yeah, seeing headquarters and seeing how it works on the inside has been insane, and I'll always be grateful for Taron and everybody else there that gave me such a warm reception. Yeah, people that recognize you for what you do, and people that ask you for like an autograph, or people that thank you for what you do, and that share their experience with the content that you put out there. I've heard tales from people like, you are my bedtime story. I hope it's not creepy that I say this, but I listen to you every night. And I'm like, no, not at all. Please invite me in. Please let me lull you to dreamland. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's been a mind-blowing experience, and I have had no negative experiences whatsoever. Maybe one that decided to pinch my ass without asking first. And instead of hitting my ass, they hit my leg and they squeeze really hard, so it really hurts. That might have been the only negative experience. For the rest, it's been absolute bliss, and it's a really cool way to recharge that battery, to get inspired and motivated again, to keep pushing, to keep trying to create better content, and to keep trying to reach the goals that you set for yourself. I don't think there are many content creators out there that can say that they are where they are today without the fans.
I think the game is absolutely different now compared to back in the day, and that's for quite a few reasons, and most of those reasons I don't think are necessarily the fault of WoW, but just the fault of it's been, 14 years since the game came out? It's been 10 years since I've started playing. If things hadn't changed, that would be weird, you know? The landscape of the community around the game has changed massively. Live streaming, and Twitch in particular, have changed the way that a lot of people learn about and interact with the game.
The only videos that ever existed were machinimas and music videos. You never had information videos, you never had things like that, and I love the mystery. And I miss the fact that, say for example, the Corrupted Ashbringer, an item from Vanilla Naxxramas, has the one item, which is a fairly low drop rate, has an entire scripted event inside the Scarlet Monastery just for this item, just for the wielder of this item. You walk in there, everyone turns neutral, they kneel to you, they do this thing, there's a whole story with Mulgrain and everything like that. It's just crazy to think the amount of passion that went into that one item that barely anyone had. And it never gave you a tease to tell you that. It never told you to go to the Scarlet Monastery. If you just happen to be going to Scarlet Monastery at level 60 with the Corrupted Ashbringer, that will happen. And obviously if that was now, there'll be a million YouTube videos about it. I'd probably make a video about it, you know?
Yeah, it goes without saying. Even when I first started playing, I only had one monitor, and it was a very slow computer too, so I frequently had to tab out of the game to look something up on Thoughtbot or Alakazam. So having to like Alt-tab out of WoW and then open up a web browser, it used to take forever. There's just so much more information out there now about the game, where you could like min-max everything. You could just absolutely go nuts with all the information that is out there. And it could be a little overwhelming at times. So yeah, that was kind of one thing I liked about Vanilla, going back again to that point where you just felt so small in this gigantic world, and you just wanted to fully immerse yourself and explore it.
Oh, it's completely different. Not to mention that at Blizzard themselves, they have made some severe changes to the game. But in the case of YouTube and online content, Yeah, to me, when I started playing World of Warcraft in Classic, there was no outside source that would tell me exactly what to do. We had Fotbot, and we had people in game that we could talk to and ask about what's going on, and that's about it, right? And these days, you know what's gonna happen in the game before it's even in the game. You know exactly the mechanics for fights. You have sims to tell you what exactly the best gear is. There are videos to tell you about the story behind the game. There are videos telling you exactly how to play it, when to play it, what to play it. And that, compared to Classic, when everybody was a noob, is completely different. And with Classic on the horizon, with Classic coming back in summer, I honestly don't think that the experience is going to be the same, because, you know, you have all these outside resources, and a big part what made Classic such a great experience for me is the social side of things.
Back in the day, WoW before YouTube, you kind of had to discover things on your own, or even before that time. So if you found a really cool thing, you could make a lot of gold, or you could do it, and then once that went out, you may not do that. And, you know, myself, starting YouTube so early and starting these gold guides and everything else like that, kind of part of the problem. Like nowadays, everybody can figure out anything almost day one. Like you can look up the boss fights. And even back when I was doing boss fights, I wanted a few attempts where I knew nothing about the boss. I just wanted to go in. Hey, we sometimes downed it without even knowing what was going on. Hey, if there's fire there, don't stand in it. Hey, this looks like we should avoid it too. Guess what? He looks like he's enraging something. Let's stun him. Or, you know, there's different things that you kind of figure out. And then when all else fails, when you wipe and you wipe and you wipe, then I looked up a boss guide, or at least read up on it and figured it out. And that kept the gaming true for me. At the same time, though, gaming, I find today, we know so much about everything so fast. And the meta changes so quick. I've been playing Hearthstone for the last couple of years. And that game, for instance, so many combos, so many decks, they get ironed out within hours, like, I mean, of an expansion launching, because people have worked on the decks prior, but all of a sudden you notice people are starting to play the same things that quick. And it's kind of like, it takes a little bit of the creativity out of it for me. I still, to this day, like to just make my own decks and try different combos, and sometimes I find things that work, and sometimes I just find things that are fun, but it doesn't work as much. What does WoW mean to me? Well, 1, it was a great game. 2, it gave me a great career and enabled me to meet a lot of cool people over the years, and it's also got me to evolve to, like, I play a lot of Hearthstone now. I don't play as much WoW, and this is one of my biggest questions: why do I not play it anymore? I feel like I did everything I needed to do in that game. Like I did all the PvE, I did like all the raiding, I did my gold guides, I did a lot of some of my April Fool's videos, but a lot of the stuff I felt I didn't want to start rehashing stuff, you know, same thing, different dungeon. And I also felt like the game had been changing a lot from what I really enjoyed as well. So I pushed it a couple more years than I wanted to, because I knew I had an audience that enjoyed it. And I questioned myself, am I playing this because I want to play it, or am I playing it because everybody else wants me to play it? And after a while, I decided, okay, I need to stop. And I did move on to, right now, Hearthstone, but I am looking forward to Classic because I want to play it. And I know a lot of people are looking forward to me going back to play it. But I also wanted, when I started my channel, I wanted to be a gamer. I just didn't want to be playing the latest and greatest. I'm not going to play a first-person shooter if it's not my style. If it's my style and it's something that looks interesting, I'll give it a shot. So I just kind of wanted to share, like I said at the very beginning, I wanted to share the gaming conversation of a game that we both enjoyed. So that means that that myself has to enjoy it and the person watching, right? And that's sometimes, when you're growing a long-term channel, that sometimes you lose contact because your viewers might now not be playing that. I remember when not everybody, but a good number transitioned over to League of Legends shortly after WoW. And I tried it a few times and it wasn't my game, and that's okay. But I know that if I had just followed the numbers, it would have been, you know, it would have helped my channel grow more. But that's not why I did it. I wanted to do it because I just wanted to share my gaming experience, and I keep that philosophy today, no matter which game I'm playing.
What does WoW mean to me? I mean, to me personally, WoW has been a game changer, a life changer, quite literally. If you had told me X amount of years ago that I would be where I am today, like I just bought a house for myself, I have 500,000 people on YouTube that watch the videos, we have been recognized, I do the live streams. If you would have told me a couple of years ago, like, this is what your future is like, I would have told you that you were crazy. So to me, WoW has definitely been a game changer, but I've never lost sight about WoW being just a video game. By this I mean, back in Classic, like I mentioned, I played World of Warcraft 24/7. I had a serious problem. Nobody should be playing a video game to such a degree. As soon as you reach the point where you start to change your life around entertainment, around a video game, that's the point where you need to ask yourself, like, okay, what am I doing? Why am I doing? Is this the right thing? Now for me, there were a whole bunch of personal reasons as well why I delved so much into the game. And what I found throughout the years in my personal experience is that most people that play this game to such an obsessive degree have their own reasons for it. So in that case, I do, ever since Classic, keep in mind, like, it is just a video game. I might have built a career with it, I might really still really enjoy this game, but it is just that. My happiness should not be connected to a video game. I think that's the right way to put it. But has it helped me through tough times? Yeah. Whenever real life gets too serious or gets you too down, it's great to lose yourself in a virtual world. It's great to just hang out with people online and forget about the worries of today, right?
I think I touched on this a lot. Just like community and friendship and meeting people with similar interests, because I found throughout all the years that I've been playing WoW that I haven't really met that many people IRL from like where I grew up and stuff that played WoW. So it's really cool to be able to connect with people that you meet in game and through YouTube, through Twitch, through Twitter, who have similar interests and passion for the game and things like that.
It's funny, I've bought all these other games over the last 14 years of playing. I never play them. I play them a bit, and I always go back to WoW. I've never frozen or cancelled my sub ever for the whole entire time. And, with Classic WoW coming back, I'm really freaking pumped for that. It's going to be absolutely incredible. I really do like the retail game. I really enjoy my time there. I like all the new stuff. I love talking about new stuff. That's super exciting for me. That's what the YouTube channel is, essentially. We talk about things that are coming in WoW soon, and it's really good, and I really do enjoy that. So I guess friendships, essentially, I've never made any... I've made a lot because of the game, and mostly because of the channel as well. Like, in the actual game, I'm very unsociable. I have a guild I barely talk to. I don't do anything else beyond that, but outside of that, we've got Discord, we've got, so many different people I talk to on a daily basis, more than my real friends. On voice, on text, or whatever, if we get news or something like that, if we've got something to talk about, they're always there, and it's really cool to have that, all because of World of Warcraft. Like, if World of Warcraft never existed, I would have never met Adam or Jay the Bard or Tips Out or any of the guys like that, and that's pretty insane to me. And it's always a release, if there's something stressful in life going on. You can always just go on to WoW, and it's just kind of like a different fantasy world. But, it's still there. It's always there. If you just want to take your mind off things and jump into a different world and kind of do that, it's awesome.
So WoW means a lot to me because it has kind of consumed my life. My whole social life was WoW. All of my work is based off WoW. Most of my stuff is based off WoW. All of my clothes are based off WoW. It's all come from this one thing, and I can't really think about what my life would be like without WoW because everything would be different. I'm sure it would be fine. I'm not saying that it wouldn't happen. It's just that it's influenced my life in so many different areas that it's hard to imagine what life would be like without it.
I don't feel like if WoW shut down tomorrow, I would not feel like any of the time that I spent on WoW was wasted at all. I enjoyed every moment of it, well, almost every moment of it. And I have great memories to show for that. And I will always have those memories. Nobody can take that away from me. It means so much to me. Like, for me personally, I started playing the game whenever I was 16. And whenever you're 16, you have basically no accomplishments, no experience in anything. Maybe you worked at Burger King, probably not. People don't take you seriously, and they shouldn't. I got on the game, I got put on an even playing field with every other person. Doesn't matter how old or how young they are, how tall or how short they are, how strong or how weak they are. The only thing that mattered was how smart I was and my dedication and determination. And the fact that I was able to succeed with that gave me a sense of self-esteem that nothing else gave me, because it would just be impossible to simulate an environment like that. WoW and MMOs in a lot of ways are the way people wished real life would work. Everybody starts at level 1. Everybody kills boars to get to level 2. Everybody goes to the auction house and they earn their money and they buy items. But the essence and the spirit of MMOs and WoW specifically is what drew so many people to it, is because it gave them a world where they could put their effort into something and see a tangible reward. And in real life, that's not a possibility a lot of times. You can't get that. You work really hard at your job and you get fired. And WoW, if you work really hard at something, or at least in vanilla WoW and Burning Crusade, you could actually get something special. And the ability to fit in and be part of something bigger than yourself is a core human need. And WoW gave a lot of people who were introverted the way to step out of their shell while still having the protection of it just being online and grow as a player. And I think also beyond that, it helped them grow as a person. WoW is something that's changed thousands, maybe even millions of people, at least hundreds of thousands, probably lives, for the better and for the worse. But it's been impactful. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, is that the reason that I want what I want, the reason that I say what I say, is that the experience that I had was so important to me and such a formative experience, and it meant so much, that the only thing that I want now, I know I'll never have that again. It's over for me. I'll never have the experience that I had in Classic again. It doesn't matter what happens if they bring out Classic WoW again. Even if they bring out another game that's better than Classic WoW, it'll never be the same as the first time. And the only thing that I want is for other people who are the 16-year-old Asmongolds of today, who feel like they're worthless, who feel like they're losers, who feel like they don't mean anything, to give them an environment to prove themselves wrong.